And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Pyramix is a game from Gamewright in which you're building a pyramid, an actual physical pyramid out of cubes. They look like dice, but they're not dice. They're cubes, all the sides of them are the same.
That's right.
This is actually not the first game I played that used the pyramid thing.
Let me see. Das Spiel was the one that had all the...
There was one that was made up of dice.
I think that's the game that's called Das Spiel.
And it's been a while since I played it, but I was not overly thrilled by it. Mm-hmm. This one I was hoping to like because Gamewright Games tend to scratch my itch pretty well. But let's see. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to randomly just put blocks into this pyramid. It's not very hard. They fall into place, as you can see. So you're going to put blocks and basically build a pyramid. You'll notice these blocks are of different colors. Purple, green, orange, and blue. And there's also some snakes here that are red. And it's a little bit unfortunate that, I don't know, that there's no way to differentiate the colors. But, well, that's the way it is. So you're looking at these colors, and on your turn, you are going to take a block. Now, just for purposes of clarification, these aren't cubes, the same thing as on each side of them. And you're going to take a block from the pyramid. Now, when you take a block, you have to take a block that has 3 sides showing, or 2 sides showing. So I could take this one here at the top, not a problem. And the next person's turn, so they're rotating around looking. This one has 2 faces showing, so they could take it. And when they take it, all the rest of the blocks are going to go down. Now you can't take a block that's next to a cobra block. See, this block here is next to the cobra, so I cannot take this one. I can't take this one either, but it's also only showing 1 face, but I could take this one. And so players are going to, as time goes by, keep taking blocks, and so the rest of the blocks are going to fall down. So maybe, oh no, someone couldn't take that one. And also, once you take a block, you cannot, once you touch a block to pull it out, you can't put a block back. You can even take one of these serpent ones. These are worth 0 points, but you might want to take it because, well, for whatever reason. So let's say more cubes are taken. So players taking these. Now, another important rule to realize is that when you take a cube, you can never take it so that we can see the base. So once a cube is sitting on the base and there's nothing on top of it, it can't be taken. So let's say all these cubes are taken here, and we're down to the end of the game. So we're just looking, this is what the end of the game looks like, just the cubes on the base. This is how the game ends. When this happens, we take each serpent goes off and all the cubes around it. So all those would go away, this one would go away, plus all these cubes. These cubes will be left over. And each of these cubes would go to the person who has the most onks of that color. So if, for example, I had the most green onks, let's say I had 3 and no one had more than me, because ties don't count, then I would get all the green cubes that were left over in the base. After that's done, scoring is very simple. Onks are worth 1 point each, birds are worth 2 points, eyes are worth 3 points, and snakes are worth 0. Whoever has the most points is the winner. So over the course of the game, you're trying to get, of course, eyes and birds because they're worth 3 and 2 points, but you also want to get the most of each color so you can get a whole pile, maybe extra points at the end of the game. Most points is the winner. All right. Well, this game is certainly easy to teach.
Very quick to play.
But not necessarily so easy to master.
Agreed.
Does this fit in that minute to learn, lifetime to master? Probably not a lifetime to master, but certainly...
It certainly reveals itself over multiple plays, I feel, and I love that about it. I've taught the game. You can understand it right away. And as you play more and more, you start to realize little tactical things you can do. Now, the game is subtle. I think the game is very, very subtle. But there is a little bit of controlling what's left on the base that you're hopefully going to take. You can, slide something out, and the next thing will fall down. Now that's locked there because it was the last one. So there's a little bit to it, more than it would seem apparent at first.
I agree. Obviously, when you first play, you're like, oh, I'll take the 3 points and the 2 points and win that way. And you might be able to, but a clever player, like he says, could make it so that the high point ones fall on the bottom.
Yes.
And you get majority. In my first game, that was a mistake I made. I fought for majorities, but I didn't bother to watch where the cobras were going. and they vipers, whatever they are, snakes.
And they can, yeah, right, the snakes. I forget what they call them exactly.
Yeah, they look like cobras.
I believe
Was there cobras in Egypt?
I don't know.
I don't know. I thought they were called adders. But anyway, so I didn't realize that, and so like all the bottom dice were obliterated practically.
Right.
It might have behooved me in that game to take cobra dice or watch where the valuable ones were landing. Maybe even take a lower one just so a valuable one hits the base. Because once a die hits the base, it's, well, you can still take it once it's the only die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also having two faces free. You got to be really cautious when grabbing a die. What are you freeing up for the other person?
That's a big one. And once you take that die off, the rules very specifically say you're not allowed to take that back. So for such a light game, they make a big deal about, you know, being careful with that. And it matters. Because you might take a die off, now you reveal that Eye of Horus. Now I can take that one. And that's 3 points.
The benefit of all this is the fact that when you teach this game to someone, you can teach it to a kid.
Absolutely.
And it's the kind of game that a kid will understand and pull off, and then you can slowly say, well, no, see, you should have done this, and you teach these strategies, and they can get it slowly over time, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
I worry that we might be making it sound more strategic. Strategic isn't the right word. Well, no, actually, strategic could be the right word, because you can have a strategy. We might be making it more strategic and tactical than it is, but I'm telling you, it's a lot more than I thought. And it feels so light. You're like, oh, this is so easy.
For me, too. I read about the game. I read the rules, and I thought, oh, this is cute. This is 10 minutes. It'll be a cute little kid's filler. But you can play this game with adults. You can have a good time with it with adults. I think it's a really neat, like, 15-minute time killer. I like it a lot. And it looks great on the table. It has really nice, eye candy appeal. When you build the whole thing, it looks really neat. You can turn that nice plastic base, it lets everybody look around the whole pyramid. I think it's a winner.
Yeah, one of the things is you'll find yourself rotating it, and you'll rotate it and rotate it. You're like, did I miss something the first time I looked at it? You're especially closer to the end, because you only have so many moves, and you're like, okay, where's that one good move? At the beginning, it's really open. There's lots of pieces to pull. So anyway, very simple to learn with a depth that you are not expecting. Works well, 2 to 4 players. So I'm giving this one, I'm very pleased with this one, Pyramix.
Me as well. I'm really, really happy with it. 2 thumbs up here.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Shut the door.